One of the great things about birding is you can be in the middle of nowhere, as we have here, or you can be in your own backyard, as we have here. I'm Chris McGee, and on this episode of Experience Wild, we're going to take a look into the world of birding. In the most basic sense, birding is a recreational hobby in which one observes different species of birds, including physical characteristics and behavior. There are more than 50 million birds throughout the United States and millions more throughout the world. Birding is relatively easy, and individuals of all ages can do it. When a birder observes a new species, they can log it into a national database. The national database is the American Birding Association, and their website is aba.org. By providing this information, this helps researchers gain key knowledge about migrations, habitat conditions, and nesting grounds. Their website also offers a lot of useful tools for birders. It offers a birding checklist for individuals to print off for personal use. Now let's talk about some of the supplies that one might need to do some birding. Your biggest asset is probably going to be your field guide. This is necessary whenever you go out into the woods. This is a detailed book that gives the ranges of the species, descriptions, and pictures of both male and female examples of the birds. It also gives a description and talks about the habitat types and where one might see a specific type of bird. Next is your binoculars and spotting scopes. These two items let you scan great distances and let you not bother the birds so much, but let you stay far enough away where you can identify what species they are, what type, male and female.
I spent a lot of time out here hiking all of these trails actually, and it's really nice because you're close to the city, but you can come out here and just get nature, you know, and the opportunities for spotting wildlife and birds is just phenomenal. I mean, it is a lot of fun to come out here. Here we go. Check this out.
Oh, cool.
See how you can zoom right in on them?
Wow. The glass in this thing is
You can't even see
phenomenal.
You can't even see it with the naked eye. But
what we're looking at, guys, is just looks like a tree swallow, it almost looks like, or a Fletcher or something.
Yeah.
Sitting on top of a branch about 200 yards out that way.
Can't even see it.
Can't even see them with the naked eye. That is awesome.
The third thing is a camera. For capturing your adventures, you're going to want to do some research and budget a good camera if birding is going to become a serious hobby. Some of these cameras can cost up to, a couple $1,000s to up to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the lens, the make, the glass. All things are taken into consideration.
Our adventure is going to start here at Stony Creek Metro Park today. The nature centers are really, really great places to come check out all the wildlife. We got, birds mounted, fish tanks. We got state record crappie here. And we have a lot of information for youngsters to come and enjoy the outdoors. All right, so Kevin and I just got to this
beautiful spot. We're gonna go through some of the things that we do to get all of our gear ready. Get our tripod set up, get our cameras mounted. We got our spotting scope already up and ready. I can't believe all the swallows that are a nice big pair of geese, it looks like over there. Sitting on a log. How do I look through that spotting scope, Kev?
There you go. I'm locked right on those geese.
Look like two big geese out there, yeah.
Check it out. All the way across, it's like you're right there with them.
Oh, wow.
I got them both, and that's a nice thing about the spotting scope is you can change the field of view.
You should see him, he's shaking his head.
Right now I got them both in there, but if you want, you can zoom in and I can get just one of them. Like I could practically look at their eyeball from here, and they're probably a couple 100 yards away.
You know, one of them, he's stretching out his leg right now. He might actually have a band on his leg, a little silver thing shining, it looks like. Well, that's another thing, you know, with, you know, the birding process, a lot of people don't realize, you know, with duck hunting too, they ban these ducks throughout the United States. And when the duck hunters, when one harvests, you know, one of these birds, it's a 1-800-BAN number, and they can actually tell you where it was banded, when it was banded, how old the duck or goose is. And it's kind of cool. They send you a certificate in the mail, and it's a nice little like memento pretty much to, you know, add to the collection. Oh, wow.
It's like you're standing.
That is cool.
It's like you're standing right next to him.
He's looking at us. And these spotting scopes are nice because you can leave the birds in their element. You're not disturbing nature pretty much. You're, you know, a couple 100 yards away, and they're happy, we're happy.
When it's sunny, you bring the sun hood out and you can protect from the sun. Another thing they have, I don't have it with me, but they have a attachment that you can hook on here so you can take photos.
Your phones and your, yeah, I've seen those.
And, or even a regular camera.
This is the perfect example of one of the great trail systems here in Michigan. If you can listen, you know, if one wants to pipe up, there's actually a ton of birds in this area. One good thing to remember when you're out, you know, filming for birding or, you know, even hiking, you want a good pair of boots. I can't stress it enough. As you can see, I went up to my knees just a minute ago. If I would have been in tennis shoes, my feet would have been soaked. And these mucks, you know, I went well over the lip of them, and my feet are bone dry right now. So, you know, pick yourself up a pair of mucks, worth the money, you know, great company, great all-around boot. Even when you're out in the woods, some things you might also want to have in your pack, a knife, fire starter, a little first aid kit just for like the nicks, the bruises you can get, a lot of thorns out in the woods, but you always want to be prepared some way, somehow for anything to happen. You know, you may come upon, you know, a hiker or something that needs your assistance. This is where you're gonna want to have your backup medical supplies. You know, we carry Band-Aids and Ace Wrap, a couple splints, just in case. You just never know what you're going to encounter out in the wilderness.
I'm kind of an amateur. I'm sure you're kind of.
Oh yeah,
there's people
I'm just
out there that just know this stuff inside out.
Well, they have the field guides, and you know, you can print off. I think the American Birders Association actually has a form that you can print.
Yeah.
And it's like a check mark. And a lot of those guys, what they do is, you know, they check it off and they have a picture to go associated with it, which is really cool.
Well, that's what I like. You know, we got like depending on what area you're in. Like this happens to be a Michigan Bird Guide. And it's got all kinds of photos and stuff, helps you identify them. And then it's got a checklist in the back, and you can check off the
Awesome.
ones. The other thing they send with this is a CD, so you can listen to how the birds sound. Because a lot of times the easiest way to identify a bird is by how it sounds.
Right.
You may not see it, but you can hear it, and you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, I hear the one chirping of the songbird up in here. Yeah. Head back to your house and check out the feeders and the setup you run at your house.
Actually, the way I started out in birding was I was hunting, and I was doing a lot of time in the tree stand hunting with my bow, and as anybody who hunts knows, sometimes there's hours and hours of just sitting there. And in order to stay awake and stay alert, I started watching birds, and then I decided, you know what kind of bird is that? How can I identify it and stuff? So I went out and I purchased a Birds of Michigan book that has all kinds of pictures in it and how to identify them by the way they look and their activities and all that stuff. And it also has a checklist in there, and I'm kind of a guy who likes doing checklists, so I started checking off the birds I saw and everything like that. Well, what I ended up doing is I decided, you know what, I'm going to set up something at home and that I can start watching birds at home, because I really started liking it. So I set up in my backyard, I got my birding room. I can come in here in the morning with my coffee and relax. I got my bird feeders out, and different kind of food attracts different kind of birds, and I can sit here and watch them and enjoy myself. I every once in a while I get some really good photographs of them, especially if a different one arrives and I'm ready with my camera, and it just helps pass the time in the morning. It's very relaxing. Sit, have your coffee. Sometimes I'll even sit here and I'll draw birds. I have do some pencil sketches of them and stuff like that. And for me, it's just a relaxing activity, and it really is educational, because you see a different bird, you learn about it. The funny thing about it is my wife, who at first, when I first started doing this, like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? She comes in the birding room as much as I do now. She'll sit in here, do her crossword puzzles, look for new birds. It really is, if you're looking for, people look for a way to relax and just defuse and stuff like that, this is a good hobby to take up. Only certain birds are going to come to the backyard feeders. There's other birds out there that you have to go find and stuff like that. So different birds are attracted by different kind of food. So if you put a variety of food out, you'll get a variety of birds. Like, for example, woodpeckers really like nuts. They like, I've used this stuff to put up today called butter bark. It's kind of like a peanut butter thing that you can spread on the wood, and then they can actually come and peck on it, which they really like to do. They like pecking at wood. Goldfinches and the smaller birds like thistle, and there's bags you can hang where there's just little tiny seeds sticking out. Sometimes you look out there, you'll have 3 or 4 of them hanging on a bag eating, and they're an interesting bird, because they're really, the males are bright gold in the summertime, but in the wintertime they change their color and look just like the females, which is kind of like a dull green. You can find a bird with the binoculars, but when you get on with that spotting scope, man, you can zoom right in. It's like you're right next to them, and you're so far away that they don't know you're even watching them. So they really are in their natural behavior and stuff like that. So, and you can get some really beautiful photos, and the kind of stuff that you might want to even frame and put on your wall. Yeah, another thing that I learned through doing this is, it's one thing to put feeders on everything, but you need to put stuff out for the birds to perch on. So like, I bought a system where you can actually put like branches coming off. So my feeder is actually a combination of different types of feeders and branches. And the birds will come in and they'll wait their turn, another bird will fly off and it'll jump down from the branch. And I found that by using the branches, it seems like it's a more natural, almost like a tree to them, and it attracts quite a few birds.